Wow. Welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show. A little program we like to do, tell a little Philadelphia sports. It's brought to you by the wonderful people at, good Lord, booking.com, booking.yeah. Welcome into the program, everybody. I can't believe what we just went through last night as a Philadelphia fan base trying to enjoy what the Philadelphia Phillies were doing for the first handful of innings last night against the New York Mets. It felt terrible. I will say my lowest point was the Pete Alonso home run. Made it 3-0 in the top of the sixth inning, I believe it was. And at that point, I felt like it was a 10-run homer. I thought it was the first 10-run homer in all of baseball history. No, it was the lowest point of the game for me. And it just felt like at that point the Phillies had done nothing offensively because, well, the Phillies had done nothing offensively. And it didn't feel like they were digging out of it anytime soon. And it appeared that the Phillies were going to be going down 0-2 while headed to Citi Field in Flushing, New York. That's what it felt like. And then all of a sudden, a spark was ignited by Bryce Harper. Then Nick Castellanos fanned that flame. And Nick Castellanos walked it off. In between there, Bryson Stott came up with a triple, a 2-1, two-run triple. It was mass hysteria at Citizens Bank Park. And the Mets just wouldn't go away. And my overall feeling and overall takeaway of last night's game was that I felt in game one, the Phillies gave the Mets their best shot. Like, as far as pitching went. Hey, this is our ace. This is most likely the runner-up to the Cy Young Award in the National League in Zach Wheeler. And the Mets just waited, took it on the chin. He was out of the game, and then they started running it up on the bullpen. Side note, bullpen's a little scary right now. All right, back to the main point. So I felt like the Mets took the best shot from the Phils in game one, and they won. They just beat you. They beat your best. This was a game where I felt that the Philadelphia Phillies took a number of big shots from the New York Mets, and the Phillies just kept on coming. Luis Severino just doesn't know how to figure out Bryce Harper to its entirety. And the Phillies finally got to him. And once they finally got to him, that's when the floodgates started opening up for this Phillies offense. But before then, it was long balls from Mark Vientos, and then it was Pete Alonso, and then Vientos again to tie things up later in the game. It was the Mets just doing what the Mets have done all season long. So I felt like game one, Phillies gave their best shot. Mets said, fine, we took it on the chin, and we beat you. This game, I felt like the Phillies took what the Mets had, the best the Mets had to offer, and they found a way to win this game. And I know that finding a way to win has a certain stank on it, considering what we went through last year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, they found a way to win. They found a way to win. They kept finding a way to win. Finding a way to win. And that can't be the storyline for a season, but it can be for a game or two. And this was the Phillies finding a way to win last night. And it came down to the stars is who it came down to. Bryce Harper, huge star, obviously. Nick Castellanos, one of the big money stars of this lineup that has been your most consistent hitter for the majority of this season. And he goes up there, gets you a game-tying home run in the sixth inning, then gives you the walk-off RBI credited as a single, probably would have went down as a double as the Phillies walk it off with a 7-6 victory and a 1-1 tie NLDS with their NL East rivals, the New York Mets. The crowd was awesome. I mean, I know that you got to give the crowd something to cheer about, but man, from the first pitch of the game, you just felt the electricity coming through the phone or coming through the TV. Then in the sixth inning, when things started to get going offensively, there's no better crowd. No better crowd in all of postseason baseball than what the Philadelphia Phillies fans do at Citizens Bank Park. Every single time they get an opportunity to cheer their team in the postseason, now 3 years in a row. Edge of your seat stuff, depressing stuff, and then all of a sudden, great jubilation. with the Philadelphia Phillies coming back into this game, tying it, taking the lead, losing the lead, having it tied again, and then taking the lead again. We'll go through all of it because it's not without drama. I can't imagine. Well, I don't even have to imagine. Not that I physically have gone through it, but people that have physically gone through it that have told me all about it. Yeah, it's not easy to play in Philadelphia. If you want a fan base that gives a damn, Philadelphia is certainly that, because we give a damn about everything. The late, great John Marzano, I remember, broke this down once, and it's just something I never even thought about because it's something I would just do. But he would talk about how smart a fan base Philadelphia is, and he's like, the littlest thing, like Philadelphia will boo or cheer. Like, for instance, runners on first base, and there's a swinging bunt, for instance, down the first base line, and they can't turn two, but they advance the runner, and they get the fielder's choice out at first base. Philly fans will cheer because whoever just advanced the runner, at least put him in the scoring position. Smart heads-up play, right? Kind of thing. Phillies fans love that. But if they also notice that you're continuously flailing away at low outside fastballs, sliders, sinkers, curveballs, whatever, and you're continuously flailing away at those pitches. And Nick Castellanos, he's got the swing at the first pitch, the chase rate. You know, he's the poster boy for all that. So yesterday in the fourth inning, Luis Severino burns two in the dirt. He swings at both of them, then finally lays off I think it was an 0-2 pitch, low and away. And the Bronx cheer, the sarcastic cheer, is laid upon Nick Castellanos for laying off the pitch. He steps out. You see his words, you see his mouth going something along the lines of, these bleeping people, okay? And that is, I would, if you're to say, hey, who said this? And you know it's not Alec Boehm because he ain't playing. Who said this? I'd be like, that would be Nick Castellanos. Later in the game, his next at bat literally hits a home run, ties the game at 3, and then comes up again in the bottom of the 9th inning and walks it off, baby. After the game, we have him saying it. I'll let you hear it. After the game, he comes out there and he starts talking about how this team, this Phillies team, is resilient. They fight. This, that, and the other. Then he gets asked about the Bronx cheer, and he says, yeah, I was frustrated, so I guess I locked in more. Now, I'll let you hear it, as I said. I don't know if he's crediting the fans for booing him, as much as I like to believe it. The second time I listened to it, I went, I don't know if he's trying to give us credit for it, or if he's just frustrated at himself for swinging at those pitches that were well outside or in the dirt. But I'll let you hear. I went through the game yesterday, of course, on the Locked On Sports postcast, and 4 things really jumped out to me. Number 1, honorable mention, I'll give it. Christopher Sanchez wasn't great by any means last night, like 88 pitches through 5 innings of work. That ain't great. However, with the help of his defense, especially in that second inning, Christopher Sanchez helped give this Phillies team a chance to win. Through 5 innings, he helped give this Phillies team a chance to win. Was he at his best? No. But 5 innings, 2 runs. Attaboy. He had some tremendous help there in the second inning, especially. I want to credit Bryson Stott and Bryce Harper specifically, because I can't just paint a wide brush and say, oh, you know what? Or a broad brush and just go, oh, you know what? The whole defense was great, because Edmundo Sosa was a problem at third base. Iglesias leads off with the infield single to second base, or to third base rather, then takes second on the throwing error by Edmundo Sosa, who again is starting in place of Alec Boehm at third base. Odd, but that's what Rob Thompson decided to go with. Then Martinez steps up to the plate. He hits a humpback liner up the middle. I thought for sure 1-0 Mets. Here we go. Bryson Stott came out of nowhere, made a fantastic leaping catch in shallow center field to prevent a run, and also obviously prevent an RBI single. So he robs that out of thin air. Great play by him. Then Marte lines out to Brandon Marshall, or Johan Rojas in center field. And then Alvarez steps up to the plate and grounds out to Bryce Harper at first base. Bryce Harper makes a nice sprawling play at right field, or excuse me, at first base, and lays out to corral that baseball. Gets out of the inning unscathed. If it wasn't for that defensive plays, those two defensive plays in the second inning, probably would have been a 1-0 game to go into the bottom of the second inning. So Christopher Sanchez had some help defensively. Other than that, 5 strikeouts in the game. Nice to see him be able to pull that off. Changeup was working well for him yesterday. Sinker was working well for him yesterday. So I like seeing that. At times, right up to pitch count mightily in the game. 26 pitch third inning. That's when he gave up the home run to Vientos on a first pitch opposite field home run on a changeup that hung up there just a little too much. Hit that over the wall there in right field for 354 feet. Made that a 2-0 game. That was his biggest mistake. That was his biggest mistake at the start. So honorable mention, Christopher Sanchez. Number 3. My top 3 things. My third thing was Bryson Stott. When he stepped up to the plate in the 8th inning, Phillies had found themselves down thanks to a Brandon Nimmo home run off of Ryan Kerkering. Again, bullpen scary. Phillies are down 4-3. Kerkering was cruising. 2 strikeouts in the inning, so 2 outs already. Nimmo steps up, gets a 3-1 sinker, and he just tattooed it. Made it a 4-3 game. Phillies get the 1-2-3 inning from Estevez in the top of the 8th inning. They're down a run. Again, it just feels like, despite the fact the Phillies hit back-to-back home runs in this game already, it just didn't feel like the offense was going to click. Other than that inning. Bottom of the 8th inning, Trey Turner leads off with a strikeout. Harper works a 4-pitch walk. Castellanos gets a single. Harper's able to reach third on it. First and third, 1 out. Bryson Stott, who had struggled all year for the box, we know his story, has an opportunity. He works a full count, gets a slider that hangs up. He puts in the right field corner for a 2-run game lead-taking triple. I talked about Bryson Stott as the guy I'd love to see really break out in this postseason after his very mediocre season, bad season. He had a terrible season from the plate. All right, let's call it what it is. A very disappointing season at the very least. Gold Glove second baseman caliber. At the plate, far from a silver slugger, okay? He goes out there, gets that opportunity, does not miss. He grabs the Phillies. Now, it doesn't just tie things up. He gives the Phillies a 5-4 lead. After that, he ends up scoring when Vientos just could not. This was one of my favorite parts of the game. Vientos bobbles the soft hit ground ball, a swing and bunt from JT Realmuto. Tries to come home with it. Stott scores. Vientos can't corral it. JT Realmuto reaches first base. So now it's a 6-4 Phillies lead. That play made me think, oh, this right here, this is the New York Mets I grew up with. This is the New York Mets team that I know and love for them being bad at baseball. But they haven't been like that all year. Well, I should say, since they came back from London, they've been an elite baseball team. So the Phillies, they have the 6-4 lead, and then they blow it. They tie it up at 6. So this brings me to how that offense really got going, and that's number 2. Number 2 on this list is Bryce Harper. He's your star. I do love when you're going through the regular season and Bryce Harper's traveling throughout the United States and Canada, and people are yelling, overrated. Yeah, overrated. He's a 2-time MVP. I think he's appropriately rated. And I know everyone likes to talk about him as Mr. Showman, and I don't think there's a better description for the showman himself, Bryce Harper, than the showman. So he goes out there in the 6th inning. Phillies are having their struggles. Haven't scored any runs. Barely scored any runs in game 1 of this series, unfortunately. Goes out there, 3-0 game. Cody Clemens flies out. He pinch hits. He flies out to where did he fly out to? Was it left field? I think it was left field. Oh, no, it pops out to the shortstop. That's right. Then Schwarber goes up there, grounds out to first. You have 2 outs in the inning. Turner gets a single, a 2-out single. Bryce Harper works a 2-2 count, gets a fastball up in the zone, belts it 431 feet to center field. Now it's a 3-2 game. Okay, home runs are fun. Bryce Harper's cracked the code on Luis Severino. All right, let's get it going. Very next batter, Nick Castellanos ties it up. Fast forward to the 8th inning. Bryce Harper is able to work that walk on 4 pitches, lays off of some pitches. Love to see that. 9th inning, Bryce Harper steps up to the plate. Again, works a walk, lays off a couple pitches. Full count. He gets on base. And that set the stage. That right there set the stage for your boy Nick Castellanos, who, of course, is number 1. After Bryce Harper was the spark to the great conflagration of offense, Nick Castellanos capped it off. Made a nice sliding grab in right field as well. His patented sliding catch that he now only does in the playoffs. Well, he does in the regular season, but he made it famous in the playoffs. More specifically, the World Series against the Astros. And ever since then, he's just made those catches with great regularity and calmness, by the way. But Castellanos, let's go back to that 4th inning. Bryce Harper strikes out. Castellanos steps up to the plate. He eventually grounds out to short, but he goes down to the count 0-2. He chases a couple of pitches, and then he takes a pitch that bounces in the dirt outside. Takes a step out of the batter's box, and his lips, without question, read, "These bleeping people." I can understand why we're a hard city to play for. The phrase I hear most often from ex-Philadelphia athletes is, "Philly ain't for everybody, but if Philly's for you, you're going to love it." Rhys Hoskins just did an interview recently. I think it was right before the Mets series and the wild card series. Rhys Hoskins did an interview where he talked about how Philly is all about accountability, holding everybody accountable. Well, that's got to wear on an athlete, especially one that's played 162 games, 81 in front of these fans. Nick Castellanos has been the Phillies' most consistent hitter and best, you could obviously say, too. Not many people have maintained 275-plus batting average over the last 4 or 5 months of the season. And he's coming off a pretty damn good September as well. So he steps up to the plate. He knows that frustrations are boiling over in the crowd. He finally lays off a pitch, and he hears the, "Hey, what are you doing? Yeah." The Bronx cheer, as it's known. He doesn't do much in that at bat. When he steps back into the box, he grounds out to short. But after that, that's when the party began. Hits the game-tying home run in the 6th inning as part of a back-to-back home run. I won't call it an onslaught, especially after what the Padres did last night, but good Lord. Back-to-back home runs, makes it a 3-3 game. Then, of course, he comes up to the plate. With the game tied again in the 9th inning. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. Bryce Harper on base. Trey Turner on base. And Nick Castellanos puts one in the left field corner for the game-winning walk-off RBI single. And just like that, the Phillies are tied 1-1. From as down as I was in the 6th inning, I was higher in the 9th. But I have to be honest, as much as I love every second of this, as much as enjoyable as this was, I don't know what Philly's team is going to show up. And I'd love to have a prediction with great confidence, and I would love nothing more than to say that the Mets are cooked, the Mets are done, the Phillies took their heart. And yeah, I do think the Phillies took their best shot. I mean, think about this. The Mets came out, they cracked the code on Christopher Sanchez, 2-0 game. They had another home run in the 6th, 3-0 game. The Phillies come back, tie things up. Very next inning, Brandon Nimmo gets a 3-1 sinker, puts it out of the park, takes a 4-3 lead. Phillies able to come back. They take the lead 6-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. In the 9th inning, Vientos hits his second 2-run homer of the game. This one off Matt Strahm. It's a 6-6 game. They came back. The Mets just wouldn't go away. Phillies, fortunately, home team, get the last at bat. And they're the last to strike. They walk it off with the victory. But two things the Mets did that made me feel like this is the Mets of yesteryear. And by yesteryear, I mean every year, with the exception of 69 and 86. Where the Mets just find a way to lose it, where the Mets met, as we like to say. There was one situation there where they brought in Edwin Diaz, in the 7th inning. They brought in their closer with 1 out in the 7th inning. I felt pretty good about the Phillies' chances if Edwin Diaz if he was coming in to only face Schwarber and then Turner. I was like, all right, if he keeps going, Phillies are going to win this game. So Diaz steps up. The situation that he came into, he relieves Buto. Real Muto's on base. He got hit by a pitch. Marsh flew out to center field. Got a fastball, 2-2, right over the middle of the plate. Just missed it. Bohm, who was pinch hitting, he pops out to third. Hey, I haven't swung a bat all day. Let me swing at the first pitch. Yeah, okay, Alec. Cody Clemens gets the infield single and just hit it where he ate. Lindor made the play, but couldn't get the out at first. So you have 2 runners on. You have 2 outs. You bring in Edwin Diaz at this point to face Kyle Schwarber. It did feel like the series was on the line right here in this moment. So they make the decision to bring in Edwin Diaz to face Schwarber. Schwarber works the count full and then couldn't check his swing on a 3-2 slider. Very low in the zone, low and inside. Pause it right there for a second. The Fox broadcast is garbage. It must be a ratings bonanza to just follow hitters into the dugout and not show the replay of what just happened. So you could see the pitch again, look again to see if the spot was missed, whatever. And they just follow people in the dugout. Like the reaction time of like giving the replay is terrible. So Kyle Schwarber strikes out holding his swing, and they give you this like terrible angle of a check swing. You're like, wait, did he even? That's not the angle. That's not the angle. So you're sitting there and you're waiting. They go to break. Schwarber obviously strikes out. The Mets come up to the plate in the top of the 8th inning, and I think it was Martinez grounds out to third, and then they show the replay of Kyle Schwarber's swing from down the third base line, and he clearly swung. Clearly. But it has been a thing throughout this series of just really like waiting a long, long time to get good replays. And that's been something that Fox has done in the first 2 games that is rather annoying, and I can certainly do without. But that felt like it was the series right there. So Schwarber strikes out. 8th inning, Carlos Estevez goes down there 1-2-3, bing, bang, boom. And then the 8th inning, they leave Diaz in there, which was expected. He faces Turner, gets him to strike out. Then they have him face Harper. When he walked Harper, I thought they were going to go to the pen. They did not go to the pen. This is where I felt like the Mets were metting. This play and the Vientos, I wasn't charged for an error, but the play where he couldn't reel in the swinging bunt off the bat of JT Realmuto in the bottom of the 8th inning. But those 2 instances, it was like, wow, the Mets just can't help themselves. But then Vientos came up with the 2-run home run to tie things up. But there are 2 instances in the early goings of this game where I thought the Phillies were going to take advantage of the Mets being the Mets and not the team that had like the most comebacks in all of baseball this season. And certainly not a team that was 25 games over 500 since London. That was the moment. Those were the 2 moments where I felt like the Mets were going to give this game to the Phillies. And let's not be confused here. I don't feel like they gave the game to the Phillies. The Phillies took this game. You're down 3-0. Phillies took this game. After the game, Nick Castellanos was addressing the media where he was asked about that Bronx cheer. It's the only clip I have for you today. So this is the one. Nick Castellanos.
What was your reaction to the Bronx cheer kind of the booing from the fans earlier? And then what adjustment did you make in the game to have better bats?
I don't know. I was just kind of frustrated, so I guess I locked in more.
All right. I was just kind of frustrated listening to the Bronx cheer, so I just locked in more. I think it's clear. I think it's clear. I think it's clear. I think the scientific evidence is there. Alec Boehm got booed. 3 errors in an inning. You're going to get booed. Then Alec Boehm made an all-star team. It's been one of the best third basemen in baseball. Runners in scoring position. He became your cleanup hitter this year. All right. Alec Boehm's pretty damn good. By the way, for the record, I think he's injured. I I think he is really struggling with that hand injury, unfortunately. That's why I think he was out of the lineup yesterday. So that's why I think that went down. Booing works. Nick Castellanos gets the, it wasn't even so much a boo. It was booing, and then it was the Bronx cheer. Then he locked in more. And what did he do after that? He only had 2 RBIs. Huh? After that, very next at bat, home run, ties the game. After that, 9th inning, walks it off. Keep booing, people. Hold these players accountable. And also, I want to let you know where I'm on these 2 things. 1, Liam Castellanos being there, love it. Absolutely love it. That is a beautiful thing. Like I was trying. Last year, I remember thinking this. I'm thinking this as well. This year, like, what would my dad do that would make me jump up and down with excitement, like Liam Castellanos for his dad? You know, what would my dad, Joe Farzetta, what could he do that would make me just like lose my damn mind? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe if I saw him play ball back in the day, maybe. But funny thing, I just drove through Ambler, where I'm originally from, and I was with my dad, and I was with my 102-year-old great uncle, Uncle Frank, and my dad was driving around. He goes, "Hey, Mark, see that home plate down there?" And we're driving by this park. He goes, "See that home plate?" It was like all the way. It was far. I don't know how far it was, but it was far. And he goes, "I hit a ball off that front door," and he like pointed across the field to a front door of a house across the field. And he's like, "Yeah, we're in the air with a fly ball." I'm like, "Dad, if I could have seen you when you were 16, man, I would have been Liam Castellanos at Ambler's, whatever park that was. I don't remember." But yeah, love the Liam Castellanos stuff. I think that's a beautiful thing. And then finally on Alec Boehm, I was surprised to see Edmundo Sosa get the nod. Obviously, it's out of the norm if Rob Thompson is going to call Alec Boehm into the office to have a conversation about why Edmundo Sosa is going to start over him. Then it's something that is certainly out of the norm and shocking. But all you really got to do is look at Alec Boehm in game 1. Not great. All you got to do is look at Alec Boehm in September. Terrible. And you'll understand why Alec Boehm wasn't in the lineup. Look, I don't think it's a talent thing with Alec Boehm. I don't think it's a choking thing with Alec Boehm. I don't think it's a slump thing with Alec Boehm right now. I don't think the man's healthy. And that's exactly why I wanted the Phillies to have the week off that they had, the bye week. I had never said the sentence in my life, "Oh, the Eagles and Phillies have the bye week." Oh, of course. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. The Eagles and Phillies are both in the bye week. Nah. What? Alec Boehm needed to get healthy. Bryce Harper needed to rest his elbow and wrist as much as humanly possible. JT Realmuto needs time where he's not squatting. And maybe Alec Boehm gets the start tomorrow. But the way it looked to me, watching Alec Boehm through September, especially since he came back from the hand injury, watching Alec Boehm in game 1 of this series, it does not look like the good Alec Boehm. Does not look like the good version of Alec Boehm. And I am concerned about the production because, look, you look at the 1 through 9 guys in this order all throughout the season. We've watched guys win games for this team, 1 through 9. Most of the time you want to see your 1 through 6 hitters really be the guys that go up there and mash and be the guys you could rely on with consistency and great regularity. Hasn't been the case all the time, but the guys that are batting 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th in this lineup, these are the guys you want to see go up there and actually, contribute. Anybody can do it. Boehm, they're going to need that bat. They're certainly going to need that bat. And this is why, and this is one of the things that scares me, because after the game, one of the things, when Nick Castellanos hit the home run, I immediately thought to last year in the NLDS against the Braves, where Nick Castellanos hit over 400, 421, something like that, against the Braves last year. And then 121 in the league championship series. Bryce Harper, I think, was over 400 in the NLDS, and then was around 200 in the NLCS. This is why we have trust issues, people. Like, I don't look. Get to the NLCS, right? But when I talk about making a prediction with any semblance of confidence, Yeah, the Phillies hit, they're going to win. Here's one of the great things that you got going for you in game 3. Your second best starter is starting in game 3. Your second best starter is starting in game 3. That works out. Shamania gets the start for the Metropolitans against Aaron Nola. You didn't want to have Christopher Sanchez start on the road, and rightfully so, because the splits are, in fact, terrible. So Aaron Nola, you're putting on the mound at Citi Field. Phillies, I feel very much like the Phillies win game 2. The Phillies win game 3. They win this series. It's pivotal. You guarantee the trip back to Citizens Bank Park. You have 2 shots at it, obviously. Ranger Suarez, maybe this is the break he needs. If you're looking for optimism, a reset after coming back from the injury, hopefully that's what he needs. And maybe he can win you game 4 before you give the ball back to Zach Wheeler for game 5. Whatever it might be. I feel like the winner of game 3 wins this series. Phillies have it all tied up. They come back to South Philly. Hopefully they don't have to come back to South Philly. Hopefully they win both games up there in New York. But I have an awful feeling that this series is going 5 games. But if it does, Phillies will win it. The Mets have impressed me, and I know the phrase is scared of the Mets. I respect the Mets. I do. I definitely. I don't know how you watch that game last night and not respect them. All in all, if you're just a baseball fan and you're watching that game last night, you don't like the Mets, you don't like the Phillies, you just like baseball. That was one of the best games, one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. It was one of the best playoff games I'd ever seen. Like, neither team quitting, came down to the bottom of the 9th. Neither starter got shelled. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a blowout at any point. Although 3 runs is a tough. Phillies hadn't come back from 3 runs in a postseason game since 1980, I believe. 1980. I think it was John Clark that put that out there. That's pretty insane. In the 6th inning or later, and they came back from 3 runs. That's pretty special. Look? The question is going to be whether or not this Phillies offense has been awoken. Are they awakening right now? I certainly hope so. But when you have seen this team hit the cover off the ball in the NLDS and then score 1 run in 3 of the last 4 games in the NLCS last year against the Diamondbacks, yeah, it's kind of troubling. It's kind of troubling. And yeah, I'll go back to what I always reference. When you see them hit 5 home runs in a World Series game and they get no hit in the very next game, yeah, I got trust issues, baby. Trust issues. Need a therapist for my trust issues. But just get to the next round. If I was to summarize game 1 of this series, it would be... If I was to summarize how I felt in game 2 of this series, going into the bottom of the 6th inning, it would be... That sums it up pretty well. Hey, in other news, once again, Phillies and Metropolitans, they'll be back at it tomorrow. Shamania gets to start 12-6 on the season with a 3.47 ERA. He did face the Phillies back on the 21st of September. He went 7 innings, allowing 3 runs on 3 hits. Did give up 2 Did give up 2 home runs in the game. One was a leadoff home run by Kyle Schwarber. You love to see it. That was a game Ranger Suarez started for the Phils. Castellanos also took him deep. That made it a 2-2 game in the top of the 5th inning. And then the Mets were able to take over against Orion Kirkering and Jose Alvarado. That's the way that one went. Yep. We're all having fun. And that was in New York. That was in Flushing. So that goes down tomorrow at 5:08. The start times of the NLDS have fallen under scrutiny. I love these start times. Are you kidding me? And I've seen like the young kid argument. I got young kids and all that, I'm fine with it. Then again, I don't have to do bedtime. If you got to do bedtime, that's a problem. I don't got to do bedtime because I'm working. Yeah, I like the start times. Getting bed a little earlier. It's nice. Also, I mentioned the Padres and their home run parade yesterday. Good God, yesterday. Fernando Tatis, 2 home runs yesterday. Jackson Merrill had a home run yesterday for the Padres. Anyway, the list goes on for them. 6 home runs in their 10-2 win over the LA Dodgers. So that series is also tied at a game up pace. So that's how that one looks. Pretty bonkers. Pretty bonkers. Also, in the football world, the Dallas Cowboys came back to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers last night, 20-17. Dak Prescott throwing a touchdown pass. In the final 20 seconds of the game. 2 interceptions last night, by the way, for that Dak Prescott fella. That's the way that worked out. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase. So let's say you want to go up to New York for the game. You want to go see Phillies Mets up in Flushing. Beautiful Flushing, New York. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Let's say you want to go to a concert or a comedy show. You could save mega huge kajunga dollars on the Game Time app when you buy tickets an hour after the event starts. So let's say that you don't want to see the headliner, or you don't want to see the opening act or the middle. You just want to see the headliner that you love so much. Well, you could save big by waiting an hour after the event starts to buy tickets. Still see that headliner. So take advantage of all they have to offer, the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Oh, how about MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Download the MyBookie app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Want to bet on the world of baseball? You can do it. Bet on the world of football? You can do it. Bet on the world of politics even? You can do it. And television as well. Who ends up with who on the next episode of The Bachelor? Or whatever season. I don't know. I don't watch it. Download the MyBookie app to your phone. Have yourself a good time. Use promo code Farzy. How about Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing on this fine Monday morning. Go Sixers, says Farzy. I'll clean up the language this morning. Thank you, Go Sixers. There was some potty mouthing going on in the Locked On Sports Philadelphia chat last night during our Phillies postcast. IBH, hello. Yuki Matsui, what's up? We took your Bohm team advantage. We took your Bohm team advantage. Is the play on words intentional? Because it doesn't make any sense. Because the Phillies still have home field advantage. Like, I know you split, and now you have the next 2 games where, yeah, you can win it. But I think this series is going 5. And if that happens, here's what works out for the Phils. Their second best starter is going. And their second best starter is pretty damn good, Aaron Nola. He's going in this game. And Sean Manaea is not terrible by any means. And yeah. Phillies force game 5, and they come back to Philly. I do hope that they took your soul, though. Mike Fuji! Nikki 3 buttons, all I got to say. Welcome to the party, Nick Fuji. Mike Fuji. Nick Castellanos, sorry. Stop eating our cat. The Undertaker meme of him coming back to the... I think we all thought about that last night. Absolutely. Absolutely. When Harper... It wasn't so much when Harper hit the home run because like, okay, that's one. That's one big moment. All right, it's a 1-run game. Cool. And then Nick Castellanos hit the tying home run. I was like, oh, okay. All right, maybe we got something here. Stott's 2-run triple. That was my Undertaker moment. Sean Kilrain, good morning. I was talking that ish on Nikki 3 buttons. Boy was listening to Keep It Keep it coming, buddy. Absolutely. James Alexander, what's happening? Good morning, Farzi. It's about time our batters woke up. Saturday, I was frustrated with the bats, as was I. Frustrated with Saturday with the batting. Last night was much better with the walk-off hit. I mean, that was just awesome. Sean Gillespie, hello. Sean Kilrain, happy birthday, Bryson Stott. Birthday boy Bryson Stott came through. Yes, he did. Go Sixers. Tinker Topper is tinkering too much already. Here's the thing. So yesterday, Estevez came in the 8th inning to face Martinez, Marte, and Alvarez. Okay. Strom came in the 9th to face Bader, Lindor, and Vientos. Did not go well. Orion Kerkering gave up a home run. Jose Ruiz gave up a home run. So let's see. Ruiz, Kerkering, and Strom. Home runs. All of them. And this was after the implosion of Game 1. That ain't good. Please stop that. So, talk about trust issues. So now, not only am I going to be still concerned, because you never know what you're going to get from Aaron Nola, obviously. You got to be concerned about Nola. Like, Nola gives you 6 innings, 2 runs, probably 2 home runs, 2 solo home runs. I'll consider that a success. But then you got to trust the bullpen. And then you got to trust that the bats are actually going to hit. And the Phillies, as we all know, have not been a fantastic road team this year. Ugh. Sean Kilrain, hello. Topper with these moving pitchers in and out is mind-boggling. Stop the analytics. Yeah, here's my deal. It didn't work in Game 1. It didn't work in Game 2. But Carlos Estevez coming in the 8th and not Jeff Hoffman, I liked. Because it worked. And I'd rather him come up to face Martinez, Marte, and Alvarez than Hoffman. And Strom getting the nod for the start of the 9th inning was good. Hoffman came in and got Alonso to chase that's where Alonso flew out to right field and Castellanos made the nice sliding grab against Pete Alonso. I learned something about Pete Alonso. I learned that his parents escaped the Spanish Civil War. I don't know. That was on Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure that's true. Anyway, thank you, Sean Kilrain. Jordan, good morning. Appreciate you. James Alexander, hello again. Bryce came through. He definitely did. As Bryce goes, this team goes. Go Sixers. I concur. Sean Kilrain, Castellanos having that moment with his son to win the game is priceless. As far as Sean Kilrain, I agree. Tan Tebow? What? Wish I got to enjoy the game. Spent the night trying to find flights out of Tampa to avoid a hurricane. Had to drive to Fort Lauderdale to catch the flight in Philly. Or to catch the flight to Philly. Man, sorry to hear that. Darkwing Duck, are we the Fightins again? Tell me it's going to be okay, Farzi. I wish I could tell you, Darkwing Duck, that it is going to be okay. I wish I could tell you that. I have no idea. The Mets don't go away. Phillies got the last ABs last night. Thank God they won. I don't know what you're going to get from Aaron Nola. I would love to say that this Phillies team is just going to, keep mashing. Harper's homers have not come in bunches since the wrist and the elbow injury. They have not come in bunches. So that obviously is a concern. Obviously is a concern. I don't know what team is going to show up tomorrow night. Good morning. Stop it here. Definitely concerned about the bullpen not being able to get them out when they need to. Yeah, I agree. Chad Crawford, hello. How are you feeling about Game 3? I feel a lot better that the offense woke up, but against the Mets in New York in September, the Phillies went out there and they got spanked, and then they did the spanking. Okay? These are technical terms. These are analytic terms I'm using. The spanker and the spanky. Okay? Philly flyover. Eagles news. Eagles news. Hello. Talking about my dad's. My dad could hit. I remember every time he buy me a new Eastern bat. Or Easton bat. Yeah, I remember those. Bat he could he would hit with it and he would dent the hell out of it, and I had to buy me another. Thank you, Jordan. That's a beautiful memory. Sean Kilrain in Ambler for Oktoberfest over the weekend. Good time. Ambler's a great time. Ambler, I remember I went to Temple. Temple Ambler had a fully student-run radio station, so I went to Temple Ambler for 2 years, solely Temple Ambler, because the radio station. And then I went to main campus. But being from Ambler, I remember they took us around in a bus on our orientation because we had an orientation, and I remember the town council member was on the bus explaining to us how they wanted Ambler. This is 2005 or no 2001, and she's explaining to us, we want Ambler to be like a Manayunk for families. And I was like, and I'm like, being from I didn't grow up there, but like I was born there, and being in and out of Ambler my whole life, I remember thinking like, really, Ambler? Like, good luck to you. I mean, you know what I mean? And that's what it totally is now. It's awesome. I had a great lunch there the other day. I had great dinner there the other day. It was awesome. I love Ambler. They've done a great job with it. Didn't the Phillies come back from being down 5-0 against the Astros in the World Series? I think it was from being down 3 runs or more in the 6th inning. I think that was the stat. Let me see if I can get this right here. Right quick. John. Let me see if I can get what's going on here. This comeback win matches the biggest in Phillies playoff history in the 6th inning or later, trailing by 3 runs or more. The other comeback was in the NLCS in 1980. What an epic comeback today for the Phillies. Yeah, that's maybe that was before the 6th inning. Jordan, thank you. Eagles fan, what's going on? We are last in the NFC East. Yeah, the Washington football team looks good. Best news of the weekend says, why Niners wine? Sirianni didn't lose another game. Hell yeah. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Bonus me today on Fox 29 over there right now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys tomorrow right here on the Farzy Show. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to Jacob Media. Make sure you like and subscribe to Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel as well. And make sure you subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia, where yours truly breaks it all down for you after every Phillies and upcoming 76ers game. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.